Zdraví vás Málderu dalšího pokračování Vampira, nacházíme se ve Whitechapelu. A my teďka momentálně budeme dodělávat druhou část téhleté čtvrti, kdy se potřebuju poptat tady na Dariuse Petresku, to znamená musíme najít Richarda Nicoreta a potom najít poštovních schránku a dopis. To je jedna věc a druhá, bylo by fajn se tady malinko porozhlídnout, jestli něco hezkého nenajdem, třeba popelnice, anebo koukám nějaký problémy. No, on zná mou slabinu. To ne. Kříž ne, prosím. Rychle pryč. Mě zajímalo, jestli takhle vydrží stát celou noc. Pochybuju. Každopádně už ho to přešlo. Vyřešeno. Keep out. Tady už máme konec mapy. Dál se nedostanem. Ale já to tady chci projít. Protože můžeme něco lootnout. Můžeme najít nějaký hint. Jinými slovy, nějakou nápovědu. Dvířka máme zavřená. Dobrá. Tak bych to mohl vzít touhletou uličkou třeba. Uvidíme, jestli něco najdeme, jestli na něco narazíme, či ne. Jo, na 12kový skaly. To možná. Ještě něco tady zůstalo? Já jsem je zabil 2. Jo. Z tebe mám co, fešáku? Pouzdro na cigára a prsten. Jo, toho už mám hodně. Privenský střelec. V klidu, hoši, nezapomeňte zkontrolovat všechny dveře a nevím co. Krabice prášků. Velká bestie, ale. Použitá sekera, detail. Já nevím, jestli bych se měl teďka toulat touhletou částí. Spíš bych se měl zajímat o to vydírání v tom Whitechapelu, tak já se asi vrátím. Ne, že bych se bál vlkodlaka, toho asi dám docela v pohodě. Ale... máme před sebou nějaký úkol, je potřeba ho splnit.
I must insist, sir.
I have no time.
Jo, to jsem zase zaklepal na dvířka pana Petresku. Takže tímhletým směrem, jo. No a tady jsme posledně skončili, že jo. Máme nějakýho frajera, tady je Kristina Popová. Tak pokecáme tady s velebníčkem.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental...
But you are
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
Začátek konce.
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
I have heard enough. Good evening, Mr.
It's fu-
A klidně s ním ještě pokecáme, kvalita krve je dobrá.
What do you mean? Quite
To
a...
už jsme slyšeli, posloucháme.
What do you mean?
The beast.
Jaký je váš plán?
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
No jasně, no, to by rozhodla epidemii zničit ohněm.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool.
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. while he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Tobias věří, že vikář z kostela svaté Marie, Joseph Larrabee, káže falešnou víru. Vida.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I send him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Nové vyšetřování, svatá křížová výprava.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Vida. Dorothy vedla ve své domovině tajné hnutí odboje.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Tady máme Claytona Darbyho. Jo, a tady už jsou zase nějací další skalové. To je rád, jste se tu vzali. No a je po Řešínu. Akorát teď... Jo. Koukám, že jsem úplně v jiné části, než bych chtěl být, ale stejně jsem asi jako vyloženě musím jít. To vypadá, že 20 metrů tímhle směrem je hlavní úkol. Co dělá na hřbitově?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Takže Nethercotta jsme našli.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Peaceful? That's quite an unusual way to speak about the epidemic. And very inappropriate, I must say.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear Doctor.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Camellia je pro Richarda Nethercotta můzou, vidí v ní uzavřené tajemství. Richard viděl v Camelii svou můzu a uzavřené tajemství.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the arid hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
Darius je bývalý rumunský politický aktivista, ale... No, tady už asi nic nevyzvím. Takže už jenom najít poštovní schránku a dopis. Malinko se tu porozhlídnout. Ale asi tady nic už nenajdu. Snad ten dopis? Dopis o odmítnutí od vydavatele, milý pane Nickertone. Děkujeme vám za zaslání sbírky vašich básní, zpěvy z poraženého města, jenž je v skutku zajímavá a hlubokomyslná, jak už jsme se zmínili poprvé. Avšak musíte pochopit, že v těchto hrůzných časech, kterým čelí naše země, není zcela vhodné vydávat takovýto titul. Jelikož však odmítáte změnit název svého titulu a dožadujete se vydat buď celé dílo, nebo nic, pak vám s politováním musím sdělit, že si Sycophant Publishing volí druhou možnost. S úctivým pozdravem AG Morris. Richard z poezii nikdy neuspěl. Aha, další zjištěníčko. Rovnou tady v popelnici, tak se ještě na to zeptám, jestli tady něco bude. Ano.
You don't really make a living from your scribblings, do you, Richard?
No, sir, I don't. I work so hard. I put all my time, my energy, my devotion into the precise carving of words.
Still, you don't seem to suffer from poverty.
With thanks to my parents, actually. I'm afraid I would not be able to live on my own without their help.
You seem embarrassed.
Someday I hope to proudly offer my first publication to my parents. Until that day, I'll remain the failure of a son they have to support.
Richard se cítí provinile za to, že je závislý na finanční podpoře svých rodičů. Tady už asi nic jiného nezjistím. Takže... Dvířka byla otevřená a... 16 metrů. Tady mi svítí popelnice. Ale, dopis Daria Petrescu. To je nejspíš to, co hledáme. Mé nejdražší a nejmilovanější dítě, omlouvám se, že jsem se již několik měsíců neozval, situace v Londýně nebyla jednoduchá. Já vím, že to asi zní sobecky a hloupě, když ty mé dítě si stále v zemi, která je válkou poznamenaná, ale tady v Anglii se odehrává také. Válka proti chudobě a bezpráví, válka, do které jsem se přidal navzdory svému pokročilému věku, proto ti dnes píšu. Do Rumunska se už nevrátím, což zřejmě znamená, že až do dne mé smrti se už neuvidíme. Nebuď smutná, má drahá, dospíváš a máš své děti. Víš, že někdy je třeba obětí, aby se svět stal lepším místem pro život. Přesně to teď musím udělat, abych se zase mohl cítit užitečný. Přeji ti dlouhý a šťastný život. Dej za mě pusu vnoučatům a pamatuj, že tě tvůj otec miluje, dokonce i na tomto ponurém a nehostinném místě. Miluji tě jako někdy tvůj otec Darius Petrescu.
The content of Darius' letter to his...
Já si rozkliknu Daria. Darius se nechce stýkat s vlastními dětmi, aby jim nebyl na obtíž. Tak, máme všechna zjištění, to je dobře. Teď už ho jen vyléčit. To znamená ale dostat se k němu, že jo. Jejda, Richard Niddercott je nachlazený, tak to bych mu měl podat ještě nějaké sérum.
Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in. Good evening, Mr. Nithercott.
And good evening.
Do you need medical attention, sir?
It may be wise to let you prescribe me something. I don't feel like I should.
I understand your appetite for words and macabre beauty, sir. But you should be more careful.
The nutrition of my mind is more important than my physical health. But I appreciate your concern, sir.
Výborně. Léčení probíhá. A tady byla ještě nějaká osůbka.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? Tell me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia.
Tak když je němá, tak mi asi nic neřekne. Ani po použití mých superschopností upířích.
Goodbye then.
Zdraví má dobré, sílu mysli má 5.
Hello again.
Tady stejně asi nic jiného nezjistíme.
Very well.
Tak. Ale ještě tady svítily ty květináče. Tady popelnice. Malá kytice, ve které byl ukrytý poukaz na zdravotní prohlídku zdarma. Aha. Pokud se cítíte nemocní a nemáte peníze, ať jste kdokoliv, odkudkoliv, přijďte se podívat za Doroteou, která vám pomůže, žádné triky a tak dál. Nikdo se na nic ptát nebude. Prostě najděte dům Dariusa Petresky a předejte mu ten kupon. Camellia tajně rozdává zdravotní poukazy do lazaretu Doroty Craneové. Ale, ty seš mi ptáček.
Hello again, miss. Camellia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary.
3 tečky. Jak jinak?
A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever.
Tak, nemůže nic vyzradit.
Very well. Goodbye then.
Pardon. Najděte cestu do domu Daria Petrescu. Kam pak ty jdeš, Claytone? Ten tady dál káže, ti se tady dál hádaj. Ale Kristýnka nám taky někam jde. Nejde za ním? Za frajerem? Ten si tady něco prohlíží jenom. OK. Běžíme teda do toho domu. – 26 metrů. Bingo.
Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again. Go away.
Vyžaduje úroveň fascinace 2, promluvme si jako muž s mužem.
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
Dům Daria Petrescu. Výborně. Takže dostali jsme se sem, tak mu to tady malinko prošmejdíme. Nějaký šilinky. Snad tu ještě najdeme něco. Safe, další šilinky. Krabička s chlornanem sodným a tartrátem železitým, nádhera. Prastará bytost Vrikolakas. Ze všech svých cest jsem byl asi nejvíce uchvácen výzkumy po středomořských ostrovech. To asi nebudu číst úplně celý, ale jen to malinko posunu, vy si to můžete pauznout a dočíst.
It's locked.
Safe, který je zavřený. Možná kdyby ho tady vysrknul, tak z něj získám klíč a budu moct otevřít safe. Tak, já si myslím, že to tady máme hotový, tak s ním pokecáme. Koukám, bronchitida. Myslím, že bych možná měl mít lék.
If you want to talk to Dorothea, you must go across the courtyard and take the stairs.
We've not been formally introduced. May I ask your name and occupation, sir?
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm here to keep snitches and spies away from Dorothea. And I also run this little print shop.
So Dorothy's real name is not Crane.
Like myself and many people in this area, Dorothea is from occupied Romania. That's all you need to know.
She seems important to the community.
More than you can imagine. The West End does not want to hear of Whitechapel's misery. Dorothea is one of the few doing something about it.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Are you not worried for her safety?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever too. If only I had met her when I was younger.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr. Petrescu?
Don't be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
Who is she, really? Do you know where she's from?
She's not from around here, that's all we know. Camellia is not even her name. It's her favorite flower.
You say she has no close family.
Well, there's that awful poet who constantly follows her around like a lost puppy. A good man for sure, but a very poor writer.
Tell me everything you know.
I do not believe.
Tady to nějak nefunguje.
Did you refuse to publish Richard Nethercott's previous works, Darius?
Yes, his manuscript is as pompous as he is starched. Now there's a man who loves the sound of his own voice.
You could have told him so.
As a great writer recently said, politeness is the most acceptable hypocrisy.
Tell me...
Ne, nejde to. To je život a teď osobní otázky.
Do you have any family left, Mr. Petrescu? Children or grandchildren?
Who knows? I have abandoned my people for so long, they might as well be dead. As dead as I am for them, I suppose.
Don't be embarrassed, sir. If you must know, my own father disappeared many years ago, and I forgave him.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families like this, but thank you, Dr. Reed. I appreciate your trust.
This war won't last forever. Did you ever think of returning to your country now it's free?
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of better times to cherish.
How did you meet Nurse Crane, Darius? Why does she trust you?
I'm her oldest friend in England. Dorothea and I share many ideas about this country and about the country we left.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you? Even if not directly, I fought against your enemies.
Really? Then perhaps you have more in common with Dorothea than meets the eye, Dr. Reed.
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered, and I know I won't see my homeland again. But I fought for Romania all my life, and I will until my last breath.
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a free country again.
But it's not the country I fought for. My homeland is not appeased, Doctor. And I still see a dark future ahead for my people.
Tak, tady už nic nevyzvím,
Do you
ale...
need some help, Mr. Petrescu?
I am very tired, but that is all. I don't need you, Doctor.
Well, I think you do. Take this, and you'll feel better.
Free drugs from an English doctor. It must be my lucky day.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
Tak, ten už se nám taky léčí a my už musíme jenom najít Dorothy Craneovou. Podívám se, pár vedlejšáčků tady máme. Ale návštěvu samotné Dorothy Craneové si necháme až na příště. Pro dnešní díl to teda bude všecko, dámy a pánové. Tímto se s vámi loučím a u dalšího pokračování Vampira se budu těšit. Čau.